Chat, episode 128. My name is Alessandro Barbosa. I'm joined in 2021 by Matthew Figuera.
The New Year, New Me edition.
We said this last year, and look how 2020 worked out.
Oh my God. What are your predictions for this year? Let's just get into it, because let me tell you, last year...
We're like 10 days in, and it's already just wild. Such a wild year already.
Like, we could put 2020 to bed. 2021 is going to be the year of goodness, like 1 week in. Oh no.
Yeah.
America's burning. People are deleting WhatsApp. Oh no. It's going on.
It's a mess. I mean, one of the good things about 2020 was, did you watch that Netflix special?
I have not seen it yet, but I want to.
2020. Pretty funny.
Yeah.
It also put into perspective how much happened in that year, because there was shit that I'd completely forgotten about. Like,
oh yeah, I've seen recaps. So like, to kick off the wildfires in Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels like a lifetime ago.
I completely forgot that happened last year.
You know, it blows my mind though. I distinctly remember it was either on Reddit or 9gag or one of those sites. It was like early January last year. Somebody did one of those posts where it's like, in the year 1820 there was this plague, and in the year 1920 there was the Black Plague, whatever it was.
It was like every 100 years.
Yeah, it was like 2020, like question mark.
Oh dear God.
And I even like that just sat to the back of my mind. I was like, that's weird. Like if it did happen every 100 years, and then Corona happened, right? So I was like, well, that's weird. But then I did go back and look. It's like, no, the person who made that skewed the dates. It's not every 100 years.
Oh, is it?
But it's funny. Yeah, but it's funny how that just stuck in my head. Somebody made a joke like, "Oh, this is the year of the plague," whatever, and like it actually was
the year of the plague.
There was a goddamn epidemic. Yeah, but
he also had inside info because Corona started like in November, but no one was paying attention to it. Yeah,
I'm gonna get.
He was like the dude who told you to buy Bitcoin and no one listened.
Buy Bitcoin, it'll be worth millions. Yeah, well, that's a good thing of 2021, I guess. If you've got any sort of money in Bitcoin,
sure,
share it with me.
Any Ethereum or Bitcoin, you're having a great time right now. It's kind of mental how that thing has exploded again. It took like 3 years to explode, but then it properly exploded again.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Well, yeah, you were saying that you sold off a while ago, and I was saying that I had a very small amount that I've just left in my wallet, and it's worth like 10 to 15 times
Jesus.
what the initial investment was.
My dad
I'm not a millionaire, but
my dad did the same as you. He kept a small amount in, but he bought on the previous like high. And then he lost a lot of money. So he's like, well, I'm just going to leave it then. He left it there for 2 years. And when it started increasing late last year, when he broke even again with what he invested, he sold out. And now he's like regretting life.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Would be worth so much now. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing with these things. Everyone loves to look back and say, oh, if I'd invested when it was 100 Rand, I'd have this much. It's like, yeah, if you'd invested in Apple, the fucking same thing would have happened. Like hindsight.
Except what, it's funny, I don't know where I read it, but I saw somewhere that one of the best companies to invest in last year was Amazon. I think at some stage, I don't know if it is a period of a month or 3 months or 6 months, whatever, but the share value went up like 67%, which is a lot. That's like
for
really
a
good.
Traditional share, that is crazy good, yeah.
Which is super high. But then I look at Bitcoin, it's like it went up by
what was it, 300? Yeah,
300% plus. Which is just.
But that's also why it's so scary, because it can also go down that degree as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, people forget that there are those there who did buy and probably spent a lot of money and then lost a lot of their money.
I'll never forget our. I mean, I'm sure you know him, Marco on Twitter. Yeah, when I was working with him at eGamer, I remember. It was second year varsity, so 2013. Yeah.
Yeah, he's big into Bitcoin.
Yeah,
from like the early days.
Yeah, early days. Yeah, and he was already chatting about it then, and I distinctly recall at the time thinking about it, and at that time Bitcoin was 2,000 Rand a coin.
Shit.
2,000 Rand a coin. It's now 600,000. Like,
I mean,
and I was like, I was a varsity student, and I was like hardly had any money, and I was like,
yeah, where would you get 2,000 Rand?
I can't afford 2,000 Rand for this coin, but again, you do that thing in your head, like if I'd spent 10,000 rand. Found 10,000 rand. Bought 5 coins. I would have 6 million
God.
rand today. 3 million rand today. You know.
Money aside, what would have been nice if I had known about Bitcoin back then? I would have 100% gone about trying to mine some while it is actually still viable.
When it was still viable, yeah.
Because you could, I mean, if you were there from the early days, you could get more than one Bitcoin. You could get like tens or hundreds or thousands, I don't know, depending how early you started.
It was also a lot harder to get into them because it wasn't, like nowadays you can Google Bitcoin wallet and you have 10,000 different options to like choose from. Then it was, and like because so few people or the mainstream wasn't in it, the instructions were super confusing. Like I distinctly remember struggling to wrap my head around like how it even worked. And
I still struggle to wrap my head around.
Like I understand it from a better, like there's still shit, the way people talk about things. I'm just like, I don't know. Like there's synthetic currencies now. There's inverse Bitcoin. There's all sorts of shit happening.
Now you're just making shit up. Inverse Bitcoin, there's Ghost Bitcoin, there's alt Bitcoin.
I feel like it's like, you know, at school, they're like, you can never square root a negative number. And then you get to varsity and they're like, listen.
Yeah, you can.
Actually, you can. It's called imaginary numbers. And you're like, get out of here.
Are we at imaginary Bitcoin yet?
I mean, that's what it feels like. It feels like, yeah, I don't know. Also, imaginary numbers exist. They lie to you at school. That's all I'm saying.
They're all in your head. They're all in your head.
Let me tell you, imaginary numbers fucked with my brain. They didn't make sense to me.
I did first year calculus when I was at varsity back in the day. And
love calculus.
Even then, no thanks.
I loved calculus far more than I liked algebra in varsity. Calculus was great. Loved it.
Nerd. Good Lord.
Let's check on chat.
Welcome. Thank you for listening to our Bitcoin.
We talk about cryptocurrencies and mathematics.
Yeah.
We actually we're converting to an economic and crypto platform.
This is a new nerdcast.
Please
forget games.
Please buy checkpoint coins.
How do we go about making our own currency?
The ones with the afro are worth twice as much the one without the afro.
Or whatever. How do you mine checkpoint coins, you ask?
You listen to the podcast.
You got to listen to the podcast, give a like and a subscribe.
The more you listen with your GPU running at 100%, the more coins you mine.
We'll give you checkpoint coins.
Yeah.
I mean, don't come to us in 10 years and be like, I really wish I'd invested back then or listened to your advice. We're telling you now, checkpoint coins will be worth a lot.
Checkpoint coins are going to the moon.
Forget the moon. We're going to Pluto.
Exactly. The moon's too close. You're thinking small fries here. Elon Musk is thinking Mars. That's too close. That's like down the road.
Too close, man.
Pluto.
Down the road.
Yeah.
That's just like around the corner by Tesla, man. I mean, come on. We've got to go to Pluto. We've got to like pretend we're driving to Cape Town in space.
Oh,
Good
God.
Okay, we actually talk about games here.
We do eventually, yeah. And Hardy Does in the background. I can hear them.
I was at my side. Sorry.
Having a good time. So, we ended the podcast pretty early in December, so we had a lot of time to play games during December. Well, I definitely had some time to play games. I was in Cape Town for a while, where I wasn't playing anything at all, which was fantastic as well. Actually, I was playing Hades and Picross on my Switch, so that was fun.
Nice.
But during the holidays, I got deep into Ghost of Tsushima, which was on your top 5, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it an honorable mention?
No, I think it was in my top. Was it in my top 5? I don't remember now, but yeah, it was one of my. Point is, it was one of the best games that come out of last year. I don't know if it is in my top 5. It might have been an honorable mention. I did enjoy it though.
Yeah,
I really did.
I remember because it came out when July last year.
Like May, June.
No, it was after Last of Us, which was Last of Us was
Last
June.
of Us was April. No, Last of Us was early.
No, it wasn't. It was meant to be April. Then it got delayed to June.
Did it?
Yeah. Came out in June.
I have dates written of the dates I finished games.
Go for it. It was June. It was like a month later.
Okay, dude.
Waiting for you to prove me right.
Okay, I finished Ghost of Tsushima on the 11th of July. You won this round. And I finished The Last of Us on the 26th of June. Cool, man. Cool story. Okay, you win.
It's hard being
take
right
your
all the
1,000
time.
checkpoint coins and get out of my face.
But basically, yeah, I remember getting into it when it came out, especially because you were raving about it, and I played a few hours, and I was just like, I'm really just not feeling this. It hadn't clicked for me. The story was, I felt it took a while to like get going, and then on top of it, it made my PS4 sound like it was reaching orbit as well.
Literally gonna fly.
So I also think it was like it came at a really busy time of the year because that's when like things were coming out left, right, and center. I just poured like 40 hours into The Last of Us 2. There was all sorts of games coming out, so I was just like, I just fell off of it. It didn't feel like the right time and place for the game. Not that it was bad.
Yeah.
So when I heard that on PS5 it had been updated, well, okay, so it still runs as a PS4 game on PS5. All they've done is they've added an update that lets the PS5 make use of like a higher frame rate. So you don't have to even play in performance mode. If you play in high resolution mode, the fidelity mode, it's locked at 60 frames per second. It's fucking wizardry.
So it's like buttery smooth.
Oh yeah, it is. So I was like, okay, I kind of want to see that. So I booted it up and I just restarted the game because I couldn't remember where I was. And then I had also heard, after the game came out, they added this new difficulty called lethal mode, which is like past hard. It's like harder than hard, but the idea is that you die quickly, but enemies die quickly. So almost like, if I swipe someone twice with my sword, they're going to die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I want to try that out. And the combination of the two like really got me into it. Like lethal mode takes a while to kind of get used to because, man, if you just overextend once, you die like straight away. Also, archers are a fucking bitch because they hit you with one arrow and you just like almost die. It gets a bit better near the end of the game because your health is much higher and you get abilities that let you like burn 3 of the resolve, which is like your, I don't know, almost like your combo meter to like revive yourself. Which is super useful. But yeah, I don't know. With the heightened sense of like tension from being able to die super quickly, the combat felt really, really good. It also felt really good because I'd do like 2-3 hit combos and the guy would go down. So it was like a cool little dance of like parry, kill, but if I don't parry at the right time or if my guard gets broken, I'm pretty much dead.
Screwed,
It made those the duels in the game. I mean, you should remember there's parts where it's almost like boss fights. It's like one-on-one duels. Those were so hard because you die so quickly.
If in lethal mode, do the bosses have lower health technically as well because you do more damage, or is it still like no?
So you do damage quite quickly to them. Like it would usually be I'd have to break their guard 3 times and they'd be dead.
Okay.
And you see, I have no real point of reference
from the other difficulties.
But it felt, I mean, those definitely felt like the more artificial of the fights. But they were challenging. They felt like real big boss fights. And I still think by the end of the game, I'd heard other people talk about it, and they were like, yeah, by the end of the game, you feel almost invincible. And I still felt like that because with all the ghost weapons you get, like the smoke bomb and the kunai, you can really you can cause havoc. I mean, once I got the smoke bomb and the triple chained assassination, I was basically like throwing a smoke bomb down and then like chaining assassinations while no one could see me. It felt unfair, but at the same time, by that point in the game, I felt like I had earned it because I had like cut my teeth on this hard as hell combat. So now I was just enjoying. It felt like a natural progression for Jin. I was like, oh yeah, he's learned some shit. You know what I mean?
He walked up to a mirror and he looked at himself and said, I am the Ghost of Tsushima.
Exactly. I do like how that progression goes. Like, he's like, at the start of the game, I was like, oh God, this is going to be the whole game of him going, my principles, my honor, whatever. But it turns, like, the way he starts accepting it and starts seeing, like, the faults in, like, the samurai way, like, that story was so engaging.
Yeah.
And I feel like it only starts, the first act or the first island is all about saving your uncle. But I feel like the story kicks off after that.
After that, yeah. And you've got your uncle, and he's like, hey, what are you doing?
Then there's, the story up until that point is good because you're being introduced to all of these cool characters who are all very, very interesting. Like, I really liked Lady Masako, whose family had all died. And I really love Yuna, the thief.
Yeah.
Ishikawa.
Who's the drunk? Is it Kenji?
Yeah, Kenji's so stupid. He has a good arc though as well. Like he comes around on and like is it Noro or Nori, the monk, the warrior monk?
Yeah.
Also like such a great arc. And I really felt like the side stories were just really, really good because each character had so much growth that by the end of it was just really good. There's some strong emotional moments in the game that I was not expecting.
Tell me more about Jin's Kira.
Jesus, yeah,
that broke me. I was like, oh my god, why?
There's some moments that, like the end of Act 1 when the Mongol is or what's his name, Kotal Khan is trying to get let into Castle Shimra, and he's basically just burning people individually until they open the gates. Like that shit is fucking crazy. It's I was not expecting this game to hit the feels as much as it did, but it really does. And the ending is just phenomenal. It's
great.
It's such
ending.
a great ending. Like you can sort of see it's coming, but even with that, the way they frame it and stylize it is
speaking about stylized, that game is stylish AF. It's
absolutely gorgeous.
Super, super pretty. And like visuals aside, it like literally stylish in the sense that everything you do, the way, like if you've had a sword fight, for example, the way you shake the blood off your sword.
Oh god, it's so good.
It's so badass.
I don't know if anyone could actually do that because he basically just like shakes. He like hits his sword really hard and all the blood is just gone. It's
I'm like, okay.
Or like after a duel, he like spins it in his palm and like I'm like, okay, Jin, just calm down.
Yeah, it's very unlikely to be realistic or happen like that in real life, but it looks really cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of this game really emphasizes why I like stylized games over games that go like full realism, because this strikes a good balance. Like there is no way that the trees and the leaves and all of that are that like
that lush
saturated. They really take a dramatic approach to contrast and saturation here, but man, it looks fun. And you know that's the default mode. You can get an even more saturated.
What?
Yeah, there's a like a rendering mode. No. So this isn't a filter. This is like in the settings, there's like contrast, and it can be like default or dramatic. And dramatic is just like, holy crap, it's so hectic.
Your eyes are like, oh my god, is this what being on drugs is like?
Yeah, exactly. It's like LSD trip in Tsushima. But it's so good. It's the way the biomes change from like, you go from like the golden forest, which is just adorned in like these yellow leaves, to like a forested with red leaves, to like the third island, which is just snow. Or man, the second island that feels far more destroyed by war. Like there's these moments there where like you liberate farms, and it goes from this like downtrodden, very grey looking area to like sunny and green and bright, and it's so
I think that game. So when they showed the initial trailer or reveal, whatever, I thought like it looks okay, whatever. It'll be is it Sucker Punch?
Yeah, it definitely changed visually from the first show to now. Yeah,
but then when what was it, when Sekiro came out, I was like, it's interesting how these two games made completely separately to each other have the same sort of foundation in the sense of just the setting, I guess. Very Japanese, very intense combat focused, one-on-one combat, that sort of thing. But then obviously they're completely different games.
Oh yeah.
And Ghost of Tsushima, I think it's the funniest thing that people refer to it as like the best Assassin's Creed game.
Oh, it's 100. Like this is if Assassin's Creed Origins never happened, which I'd like to say I love Origins. Like that is like the first one that went into the RPG likeness. But I loved Origins. I haven't played much of Odyssey, and I fell off Valhalla very hard. So like I feel like Ghost of Tsushima is like Sucker Punch going, you know, they love Assassin's Creed, so what if it never took place? What if it never went through its RPG transformation? This feels like a natural progression of that formula, and it is perfect. It is. Yeah. There's not too much on the map. There's a lot on the map, but I don't feel like it's overdone.
It's not like It's not Witcher 3 levels of dense.
Yeah, it's not Cyberpunk. Jesus, I opened that map and I had like instant anxiety.
I have a heart attack.
Yeah, Jesus, there's so much happening in that game. But yeah, there's and it's like it learns a little bit from like Breath of the Wild. Like you can see plumes of smoke in the horizon, and that means there's a camp there that you need to go liberate, stuff like that. And the map is all covered by a fog of war, so you have to actually explore the map to kind of uncover it and find everything. I really, really like just going around, and I mean, I platinumed the game, so I did like everything in there.
You did everything, yeah.
And it was just really good. Like, yeah, some of the side stuff gets a bit tedious, like following all the foxes, although they're very cute.
They're super cute.
I found all the shrines were really fun because they were cool little traversal puzzles.
Platforming, yeah.
I'm kicking myself for not getting that grappling hook earlier. I took so long to get it, and it's like one of the coolest things to use.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
Makes life a lot easier.
Like grappling around an enemy camp and them not seeing you. So much fun.
It makes the game a lot, I want to say not simpler, but it gives you a lot more room to experiment and,
loads
jump around.
More flex. What I appreciated was I got to a shrine that clearly needed the grappling hook, and as soon as I started it, it's like, you don't have a tool that you need.
You don't have the right.
So I was like, thank you for not wasting my time and me like banging my head against this.
I just need to figure out how to get it to that stupidly high platform.
Yeah, how do I do that? Yeah, exactly. But essentially it was a real comfort food game. It has issues, like for sure. It repeats its content a lot, but I also feel like it repeats it smartly. The story missions play on like the core verbs of the game very well. There's some really amazing set piece moments in that game. I think like some of the ones where you have to sneak into towns undetected are really, really fun. Then like some of the assaults on the big castles are incredible because they're just like these long drawn out cinematic battles. There's a lot. I think if you fell off the game in July, it's worth revisiting, especially on PS5, just because it looks beautiful and it just runs so smoothly. Like it's unbelievable.
Even just on that, I played that on my base PS4 and it still ran like absolutely perfect.
Yeah. I mean on PS4 it runs at a perfect 30. Like it's amazing that it's that pretty, and the open world itself just looks gorgeous.
It's lush and pretty.
Yeah, I loved just like galloping through the fields, and you see like Jin like run his hand through the reeds, and that leaf tech. I don't know how long they must have spent on that, but the shit, it's so good.
Did you ever open up the photo mode?
Oh, hell yes. All the time.
How cool is it? Just like, okay, I need to make this scene a little bit more dramatic. Let me just blow some leaves into the scene.
Particle intensity 100.
Where it's like wind intensity, wind direction.
That photo mode is mental. It is so extensive.
Honestly, that is honestly a benchmark for other photo modes.
I mean, I'm a very basic
bitch.
Yeah, very basic bitch when it comes to photo mode. I use the same like angles. I touch up the things very minimally, but I was going through the options, and every time I was like, Matty must have been in heaven. Because it's like exposure,
I took a bunch of screenshots.
It's like tilting, it's like changing character expressions. Like
it's actually a problem when a game has a photo mode, because I'll be in the middle of something, like, hang on, a photo.
Yeah.
And I spend a good 5-10 minutes trying to adjust the angle, get the right lighting. And I'm like, I need to stop this, because this is making my 10-hour experience like 15 hours.
I mean, the fact that you can change like time of day. So like you can be like, oh, this shot looks great, but I want more dramatic lighting.
At night,
Yeah. And my favorite was getting the photo mode engaged as soon as you swiped someone, because then you see all the like blood globules. Like, it's so good. One of my favorite parts of the third island was like the snow, because you cut people and it just stained the snow with blood, and you're like, hell yeah, I'm a fucking samurai.
I am the Ghost of Tsushima. You're not a samurai. You're the Ghost of Tsushima.
That all the armor options in the game, again, reminding me of Assassin's Creed, because like Assassin's Creed 2, I still think is the benchmark of like Assassin's Creed 2. You could change the dyes of your Ezio's like armor, and you'd get different like he always had this like cloak on his shoulder, and you'd get different cloaks, and that would sometimes give you immunity from committing some crimes in certain cities.
Okay.
But there were 6 like platforming challenges, almost like shrines, throughout the game that you could do. And the last one was it was about in the final third of the game. But once you got all 6, you could unlock Altair's master armor in this like vault, which changed you from this like white assassin's robe to this like black, red, and gold. And it was
I actually know exactly what it looks like.
It's one of the best transitions. I think it's one of the best like Assassin's Creed costumes in the game. And from there, every Assassin's Creed game had like a hidden armor, and they were always really cool. So like to have Ghost of Tsushima have the same thing, and like have all these armors that I could customize, I was in heaven, man. I was like the Ghost armor and the Ronin armor, and I was just having so much fun.
They also like proper changed appearance as you improve them.
Yeah, like and also like they fed into my playstyle. Like some were good for stealth, some were good for. I think the Ghost armor is like. It's kind of stupid because it has a 30% chance to terrify enemies. So the amount of fights where I kill someone and everyone's like, whoa,
I was like,
whoa, I'm out of here. It was like, it's so funny. Yeah.
Oh, good grief.
It's a
good game. I think it's one of those games that people would very easily pass by thinking like it's an open world game, whatever. Not necessarily everyone, but I know layperson might just like, but it's well worth playing if you haven't.
It definitely scratches a specific itch. So I can see people being like, this is very repetitive, because it is, but it really, again, I fell off of it the first time I played, and I had to come back to it at a time where I just wanted something like that, and it was perfect. So
it's a good time.
I really am glad I got back to it, because it was really, really good. Really enjoyed it.
I'm glad you went back to it as well, because I do worry with some games people will play and just like you do, you'll play it like, I'm not in the mood for it, but then they don't go back to it.
And then you don't give it another chance, which is, sometimes that it is what it is, but it's unfair on the game.
Let me tell you, 2021 is the year you play Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I've started it. I feel like I need to start it again, like a third time.
Third time's the charm.
Good Lord. Because like I already do not understand. Like I can't recall what happened in the story. So
you fought a scorpion. You went back to the slums. I can't even remember what it's called.
I just got to the slums. Whoa, something's happened to my microphone. Oh.
You went super loud for a second.
For some reason, my microphone recording volume decided to jump from 70 to 100.
Nice.
So apologies for that. Don't know
that
how
was
that
for
happened.
a second. I was like, wow, you're speaking very loud.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. Audacity just decided to take the recording volume to 100.
Like,
so that's
man.
cool. So for a good 10 seconds there, you're going to have very loud Sandy.
Fine. Just put that volume down.
Yeah.
So Ghost of Sushi.
Ghost of Sushi, yes. You played another big open world game. You actually finished it.
I think you dabbled with it. I actually finished it.
I did not dabble with it that much.
Cyberpunk
2077. I was getting messages from you while I was in Cape Town about your playthrough, which made me like, man, I really want to play this game.
It was funny though, because we share what are we sharing it on?
Steam, yeah.
The way Steam works, so like on PlayStation, if you game share, I think we can both play at the same time, no issue. Steam though is like, nah fam, if like Alessandro's on, you can't play. So you in Cape Town, I was like, I need to take advantage of this.
I used to think it was if you're playing the same game. Apparently it's like if I'm using my library
because one day I'll just happen to be, I don't know if I was playing Counter-Strike or something, but then it's like, hey, hooray, like Alessandro's library is now available.
Because I probably logged off. Yeah.
No, you logged off. So I messaged you like, yeah, I've just logged off. I was like, oh, that's weird. I was like, not that I was trying to, but I was locked out of your account, which makes sense, I guess. But it was just funny.
I don't feel like it used to be like that. They must have changed that recently.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, I played some Cyberpunk 2077, but like arguably one of the most hyped up games, riddled with a whole lot of controversy because of many reasons. I don't know if we ever got into it because of maybe we recorded the last episode before.
We recorded the last episode before it launched. So
had it not even launched yet?
Hadn't launched.
Yeah. So
I mean, we're not going to go over all the news. Yeah, but basically it's like lots of bugs at launch. Even worse
PS4
on base consoles. Yeah, base consoles
PS4
were bad.
and Xbox One are like awful performance.
To the point that you cannot buy the game on PSN anymore.
Just on that is like, I don't know if that's ever happened on such a scale like that. Like, I imagine PlayStation pulling off a smaller game because it's like, I don't know, rude or,
I think it was like a toss-up between like CD Projekt Red telling people that they can get refunds and then Sony realizing that their PSN refund policy on PSN is fucking terrible. Because on PSN regularly, you can only get a refund for a game you haven't downloaded. Doesn't matter if you've booted that thing. Like, if you've downloaded it, you cannot get a refund.
Oh my God.
I mean, like, you compare that to Steam, where Steam is like, first 2 hours of the game, you can get a refund, no questions asked. It's the same with GOG. I think it's the same with Epic. Xbox, you can get refunds pretty easily as well. So
the point with Cyberpunk is that highly anticipated, but lots of controversy when it launched for reasons like we've said, bugs, poor performance.
They're now defending themselves from court cases from investors because they were told they were misled.
So their stock value dropped by like 79% or something in a week.
It's a mess.
Which is just...
let me tell you. And I mean, the public reception of the game has been very mixed. I've seen people being like, yeah, this is great, this is cool. Others being like, I literally cannot play this because of the bugs. So
it's interesting because, like you said, it's a mixed bag where I know you, for example, you've played it on PC and you've had issues. But I think, I don't know if that's because of your graphics card or whatever. So I finished the game in about 35 hours, which is relatively short given how much side content there is, but I'll get into what I've done in the game in a bit. But I only had one hard crash in the game. And other than that, I just had some visual bugs that made me laugh more than they took me out of the game. It wasn't a thing of like, oh, this game's broken, I can't play it. So I am one of, I suppose, a small percentage or a percentage of people that had a pretty solid experience with that issue.
Yeah.
But I think you were saying like you get frame drops inexplicably. It's not running how it should.
Well, yeah. At first, I was a bit confused as to because NVIDIA, just before the game came out, NVIDIA supplied me with the RTX 3090. So I was like, okay, well, this thing should just be running no problem.
I don't know if that card can run this game.
So yeah, I put on Ultra and I put on 4K and the thing ran it ran fine, but it ran worse than I was expecting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you've got like the world's most powerful card. You'd expect.
Yeah. I just, I was expecting better. And that was just before I left for Cape Town. So it was like on launch day. And since then, it's running better. I've also
I think there's been
I've also tuned
patches and
I've tuned the graphics. I'm not just running on straight Ultra. Digital Foundry did a PC optimized settings video, which it's a 3090. I shouldn't need to be doing that, but
no.
I am doing that because certain things are just like destroying performance for no real gain.
Yeah.
And the game graphically is like heavy. I still can't, even if I'm using ray tracing, I have to use DLSS. And even then, I can't lock it to 60 because it's just like indoors. It's like totally fun, like 100% fun.
I had the same experience where I spent a large portion. I spent many times in that game just quickly jumping into the menu to put RTX off, purely because I was like, like it's dipping too much for my liking. And that mostly happened when I was like driving on the big open spaces,
it's the open world parts,
I would immediately it took me like a second. I'd quickly just go into the menu, put off RTX, do my thing, get inside, put it on, which not the ideal way to play the game, but like, I don't know if that's a result of poor optimization or my setup, whatever. But the game, when it does work at its optimized self, it's super pretty.
It's incredibly beautiful.
Really, really pretty. Like one of the best looking games, I'd say.
Like I can understand where the performance is diving because like, especially in the city, it's so dense and so much is happening. Like again, this is on PC, which seems like the best place to play for like a graphical standpoint. I've seen it running on consoles and it is, I mean, I've played a bit of it on PS5, which is using the PS4 backwards compatibility version. And I think if I hadn't played it on PC, I'd be okay with it. But now that I've seen it on PC, it is night and day difference. It is, wow. Yeah. Like that next gen patch can't come soon enough.
Yeah. They did it the wrong way around.
Yeah.
Like I understand why they did it this way because the player base is on the current gen. But they 100% should have done what they did with The Witcher 3 where they play, it runs on whatever platforms out now, and then you port it to like the Switch, like they did with The Witcher 3, for example. Port it to PS4 and Xbox. Feels like they just did it the wrong way around, but it is what it is. If you're playing on PC, I think you're more than likely to have the best experience at the moment because they are still in the depends, I guess, in the process of fixing a whole lot of shit, and like. By no means am I excusing what happened because it is a bit dodgy that we've never seen PS4 footage and Xbox One footage beforehand. But the reality is, as time goes, they are going to improve the game. And if you want to play it, wait a bit.
To be fair, when you're playing it on PC, it looks better than the E3 demos I saw, which they eventually released, so you can go do comparisons by yourself. Like. They definitely did not downgrade the game at its core, but like to get it running on console, they definitely did, and it's evident that they didn't spend. That wasn't their focus.
Enough time,
and considering that's probably where most people are playing, that is it was a bad decision. Like
the problem,
poor decision. They should have made this thing next gen exclusive, which I'm pretty sure the executives didn't want because it's like, well, how many people can we potentially? There's no way they would do 13 million sales if it was only on next gen. There's just absolutely no way. So it's just a mess from like, I think they could have like pushed it out or anyway, like it is what it is. It came out. It's a bad time. And I think they've damaged their reputation. Like
which is so sad.
Very, very hectically. Actually. Yeah. Which is sad. At the end of the day, it's like now when CD Projekt Red releases a new game, there's going to be this trepidation, this hesitation with it. So
it's super sad purely because CD Projekt Red, they like after The Witcher 3 came out, they just kept taking the right steps and they established themselves as like, this is the sort of studio you want to be. They I mean, for example, they're one of the first studios to come out to be like, if you buy the game on PS4, you get it on PS5 and with Xbox, which I think kind of set the trend for some of the other studios, So they really had such goodwill and good faith from gamers. But now it's like, it's amazing how 1 week things shifted. People are like, oh,
it was crazy.
CD Projekt Red.
It was one of the biggest, like, I was staying off Twitter a lot while I was in Cape Town, but every day I'd log on and every day it would be something new with CD Projekt. And it was just like the most ridiculous implosion I've ever seen, been covering this industry now for... it'll be a decade this year.
You're old.
I've never
You're
seen...
so old. Are you turning 30 this year? Was it next year?
Next year.
Oh my God, you're still young.
I'm still so old. But I've never seen anything like this on this scale. But at the end of the day, okay, so just quickly, I played about 8 hours of this game. Like I got to the title card and I've just stopped.
I came, I saw, I left.
It's a combination of like, this thing's not running the way I want. I'm encountering bugs all over the place, and I just wasn't into it. Like, I was just like, I'm actually bored.
I think it might be a case of like Ghost of Tsushima. You'll come back to 100%. It in like a year or whatever, and you'll enjoy it.
100%.
Because like, so I finished the game. I played 35 hours, and
which is a lot shorter than I thought it
a lot shorter, and I'll get to that in a bit. But I enjoyed the game. However, it's definitely not it didn't set the world on fire for me. And I mean, that could be a combination of just my expectations, or maybe the game isn't as good as it was made out to be. But the point is, I still really enjoyed Cyberpunk. Like, the 35 hours I spent, I did it so quickly. Like, I played a lot.
My God.
Like I really played a lot.
When you told me you finished it, I was like, wow, okay, you really dived into this thing.
Yeah, so the finishing it thing, though, is a bit weird because one of my, I don't know if it's a criticism really, but I suppose one of my comments on the game is that the story feels short. If I had to mainline those quests, the game could be no longer than like 10 to 15 hours, in all honesty, because like you said earlier, if you open up that map, you get anxiety because there's a lot of shit to do in that game.
Yeah.
There's so many markers, there's so many people to contact and do jobs for.
There's people constantly calling my cell phone.
They're
Always. What the hell?
It's actually kind of annoying. People are like, hey, heard you're in town.
Jesus.
I've got some work for you. I'm like, who
like
are
every
you? How did
30
you get my
seconds, someone's
number?
like, hey, there's a new car you can buy. It's like, leave me alone.
I was actually so have you heard of Video Game Donkey? YouTuber?
Yeah.
There's one part in his Cyberpunk video where he like proper makes fun of that part of the game where people phone you, and he just fills his screen with those little portraits of people phoning him. I'm like, it's so scary how almost true that is.
To me, the most annoying part is like they phone you out of nowhere, and as soon as the phone call ends, they send you a message. It's like, you're the worst person. I hate you.
So what I was getting at is that when I play open world games, I generally I've learned to wean myself off the thing of I don't have OCD of I need to tick everything on the map. So what I do is I'll do like one main quest and then 1 or 2 side quests, and that's how I progress my games in general.
Seems like a good cadence.
Yeah. So I did that, which means I did some side stuff. But when I hit the final mission, like you get to a part of the game where you're about to step into a lift, and it tells you, it's like, hey, this is the end game. Like, make sure you've wrapped up everything before that. And honestly, I've had that message in games before where it's like, this is the end game, make sure you've done the side stuff, whatever. And for the most part, you can do the final mission and just go back and carry on doing side stuff, correct? Not in Cyberpunk. That is 100% the last mission, which isn't like a 30-minute thing, an hour thing. It like proper locks you in. It takes all your decisions, whatever factors into account, and it gives you an ending based on that. That takes like 2 to 3 hours to get to.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, like the ending I got, I would say, I mean, we can talk when you actually finish a game one day. I think I got arguably one of the worst endings in terms of the story.
I've seen some people complaining about some of the endings. Yeah.
Look, based on my choices, I expected that ending, but it just hit me. I was like, damn, like that is a bit heavy. But I suppose my biggest takeaway is that it was just very sudden. It felt like the game just like sped me along to this conclusion. I was like, it's a pity that the amount of detail they put into side quests, it feels like they didn't translate into the main story.
Interesting.
If that makes sense, because like
I feel that way about The Witcher 3.
Yeah, think about The Witcher. Like I enjoyed the main story, right? But the main story itself still, it forced you to engage with certain characters and to do certain things, and then like it gave you a conclusion based on your interactions.
Yeah.
You had to defend Camoran and whoever you interacted with, you had like a whole big finale, which kind of made sense, right? But it still forced you to interact with certain people, whether you got them as an ally or not. That obviously depended on your choices. Where Cyberpunk, it feels like Keanu Reeves, Johnny Silverhand, really great character.
Yeah, that's one of the positives I have with the game so far.
I'll definitely, like, I think one thing I saw is that people thought he'll have like a small role in the game, although it's been marketed like he's a big part of the game. But you'd almost expect, because he's this big celebrity name, he'll have a couple of lines and like just
his characters are full on asshole. Holy shit.
There's but his character features throughout the game. Like from the moment you meet him, he's in and out. So like, he's cool. You meet him, you engage with him, whether you like him or not, you have these really cool interactions with him.
Yeah.
There are a lot of side characters as well that you can completely miss if you just don't do any side missions, which I feel is a bit of a missed thing, because CD Projekt Red are really good at doing quest design. They are good at writing good characters and engaging characters. Like, for example, did you meet Judy?
Yeah, I did.
So you could do
that was still in like the prologue.
okay, so you could do like literally that one quest with her. I think there's another one that follows, and you'll just never see her again if you choose not to.
Oh, she's so cool though.
Yeah, there's another character called Panam, who's also like you have 1 or 2 missions with them. Cool, you might just never see them again. It feels like it would have benefited to, because these side quests, if I understand correctly, can actually affect your ending, like who you choose to help and not help, whatever. But you could go the whole game and just not be aware of it.
So the story doesn't like incorporate its side characters really well.
No, it will. I think I just got a shitty ending because I didn't close out some of my side missions. Like I did some of them thinking I'll come back to them, and then I got the ending. I was like, oh damn, I should have finished that arc.
I understand. Okay.
But my point is like you could just not do those side missions and then get probably the same ending I did, and you'll be like, that felt a bit shallow. If that makes sense. But like John Michael, colleague of mine, was telling me that. See, he's also playing the game. He's also enjoying it. He's told me about a character that neither of us have actually met.
Oh,
and I'm like,
interesting.
Where do you meet this character? And apparently this character, like just to give an indication of how the gravity of how big they could be, they are like a romance option. But I'm like, where is this character? I don't even know where to find them. Like they could be an awesome... I mean, it's such a weird criticism because, I mean, it's not like games have to wrap up side quests and main quests together. You know, it's normal for games to have really good side quests and really good main quests. But it feels like in this game, it would have benefited more if they just weaved in more of those side characters into the main narrative.
Yeah.
It just feels like if you just 100% mainline the game, you'll finish it in 10 to 15 hours, I'd say. Like, this is me thumbsucking. And you'll be none the wiser of all these other awesome side stories, which just feels like a missed opportunity.
I feel like The Witcher was similar to that. Yeah.
Like, see, but The Witcher, I did the right thing in that I spent a lot of time doing side quests. And not that I didn't do that here, but it feels like...
It feels differently weighed.
It just feels, just weighed differently for some reason.
Because like I always found that, I mean, The Witcher 3 is a conclusion to a trilogy. So like, I think a lot of people struggle with the main story in that game because they've never played the previous two. Because like they were primarily PC games at the time. But The Witcher 3 side stories were all like incredible. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, barring the one Red Baron story quest.
Yeah,
like that
I was going to say that I think it's a problem. The Red Baron arc is a problem because it's so memorable and so good. Like I'll never forget going to a dinner with one of Lenska's friends and I didn't really know anyone there and I was busy sitting next to a guy and then we just happened to find out that we are both gamers. What have we both been playing recently? Oh, The Witcher 3. And we just sat and spoke extensively on, well, what did you do in this quest? Who did you choose? Yeah, and we spoke about the Red Baron. I was like, this happened to me. It's like, no way. Like, this happened to me. And it's just completely different, yet impactful
that
conclusions
is peak
to that
CD
quest.
Projekt Red writing
that is,
right there.
I think the problem is that, like, I want more of that.
Yeah.
Even though The Witcher 3 as a whole is good, that is definitely like one of the peak parts of it for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll ever reach that again, just because it like really left me going like, oh my God, like I can't believe
it was
happened.
Such an incredible little arc. And it was like so early into The Witcher 3 as well.
Exactly, yeah. So I mean, look, I'm not knocking Cyberpunk. I think the quest and the main story itself feels a bit lackluster. But Night City and just that hub, that world, is a lot of fun to explore. There's plenty to do. I mean, there's a shit ton to do. You could easily sink more than 100 hours into that game, I'd say.
Does it? So the impression I'm getting from it, so firstly, I thought I was going to play as like this stealthy cyber hacking like person. That's who I went in mentally like trying to role play as. I've since moved away from that because I find the hacking in the game really bad. I think the UI for it is like poor and also just like it doesn't let me do things that I like want yet. Maybe that will change later on in the game. But so I've transitioned more to like just straight up gunplay. That game feels more like an action game than an RPG to me.
Yeah, it's interesting because the gunplay and the weapons are really good. The shooting feels awesome. And it's interesting because there is this underlying RPG mechanic. Like if you open up your menu, there are tons of things you can choose.
Their menu system is a mess. I'm sorry. It's an absolute...
The
fact that I have to go into a weapon and individually manually take off the modifications so that I can then put them on my newly equipped weapon. I also can't mark things as junk, so I can't mass sell things. Like that UI feels like it was developed in a vacuum and is just like 6 years old at this point. It's so bad.
But with regards to the RPG system, like I hear you, it almost is like a side thing. Not a main focus on the game, because
which is not a bad thing. It was just surprising to me.
Yeah. I mean, look, I suppose one of the crucial RPG things comes in is the fact that your dialogue options can have different results. If I'm not mistaken, like how you interact with certain people, what you say to them.
I put a lot of points into cool. So I get cool options a lot.
I love that there's a lot of cool.
I love that cool influences your stealth. I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, like, cool, man.
Yeah.
Nice. But in terms of the actual dialogue, like, I think they nailed the RPG in that you're often presented with 3 to 4 options and, like, the dialogue changes depending on what you choose, you know? But as for the foundation, the actual gameplay RPG mechanics, like I said, there are dozens of perks and things you can do, but you could play the whole game without taking a single one.
Yeah.
Like, really. It feels like, for example, one perk might be if you aiming from behind cover, your gun will do 15% more damage.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cool to have, but it's not a thing of like, well, now that you've got this perk, you can grapple from the ceiling. Or, you know, as a dumb example, it's more like a numbers focus, it feels like, rather than actual, I don't know. It's like difficult for me to
I know what you mean. It feels more like it feels more Borderlands than anything else. There's like
that's actually
definitely
the perfect example,
like numbers underneath them and perks, but it's still primarily focused on first person action. There's also I think there's way too much loot. I'm picking up shit all the time, and I just don't know what I'm picking up.
15 hours of my playtime is just me sifting and selling my loot.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess in that regard. The one thing I do like, which I haven't done lots of, and I'm hoping there's more of it in the game, is the brain dance stuff, the like interactive CCTV detective mode.
But again, so you do
that one at the beginning, which is extensive.
But there are like maybe 2 or 3 that I did in the main quest.
That sucks.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Surely there must be more.
Yeah, because it's such a big mechanic. Like
it's a really cool mechanic.
Yeah.
When they first introduced it, I was like, so just to quickly recap, a brain dance is basically you're looking at a recording of someone else's memory. It's almost like an actual tape recording that you can play from beginning to end. But the way it works is that you can actually move around within that memory to pick up different clues. Like, you can look at certain objects, you can pick up audio hints, that sort of thing. And it's a really cool mechanic. When they introduced it, I was like, it's a bit too much. But by the end of that tutorial, I was like, shit, that's actually
very
really
cool.
clever.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that mechanic in a Batman game, for example.
Immediately I was like, this needs to be in the next Batman. Because
it's really cool.
Really good,
Then only 2 or 3 come to mind that I was forced to do in the main game, which is like, come on.
Yeah, I think it's a great, like, and it also allowed me to, there's a part early in the game, I think it's the second time I used brain dance, is like you're scrubbing through like quite an extended memory to plan like a heist. And like, I stayed in that mode for like half an hour because I was just finding all these little things. Like, and it was such a cool way to tell the story as well, because I was picking up little hints here and there. So to hear that they don't leverage that more is like, again, like, as soon as I finish that section, I'm like, I'm almost certain they're not going to use this again. And that's just so disappointing.
Yeah, because think how much time would go into, like, from a development point of view, how much time and thought goes into creating
those segments.
One of those things. Yeah.
No, I get it. It's just like, just disappointing. I also feel like, I don't know, the game is so front-loaded with exposition. I felt so lost. Like, it's Cyberpunk, but man, they really expect you to read a lot. And a lot of the time, those things, you read them and it's like, I learned nothing from this.
It's just sad.
But then
some of it's just random.
Yeah, every now and then you read something, you're like, oh, okay, that puts something into perspective. But a lot of it is just garbage. Like, it's really
garbage, yeah.
So I don't know what to read, and I've spoken to some people and I agree with them on this. Like, there's a moment early in the game where you have a montage with Jackie. which is like your 6 months in Night City once you reach there. I wish they let you play that. Because I feel like they want you to feel attached to Jackie and understand the relationship between your V and him based on this like 1 minute montage of quick cuts. It's like, no.
Yeah.
You should have let us play moments of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they set up like depending on what background you choose, you obviously play a different prologue with Jackie, you know, whether you're Nomad.
Mine was so short. I played Corpo and it was like half an hour. I went to a bar, I got attacked by people in suits, it took away my augmentations, and then montage. And I was like, what is going on?
Okay, mine was a little bit longer. But again, yeah, super short. But yeah, what I'm saying is that, so they do set it up, like they show you how you met Jackie, which is cool. But then, yeah, then it's like montage and then...
And then you're just in it. Then it's like you're meant to know what the fuck's going on. Like, it puts you into a mission that I saw at E3, which is a cool mission, but like, you don't know why you're on that mission. You don't understand. No. You don't understand like how does medical aid work in the Cyberpunk view. It just like is all sort of told to you, and it's just I feel like the opening hours of the game are so messy, and I think that's what put like such a sour taste in my mouth.
Maybe that's why I put you off. Yeah, I hear you. Maybe if they spent more time giving you a little bit more exposition, just breathing room to get into the game.
Just like let me understand things that are going on here. I mean, even The Witcher like sort of did that, you know. So
yeah,
I don't know.
But look, I know it sounds like I'm shitting all over Cyberpunk, but
I know you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I did enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll get to it. I'm just, you know, aside from the performance, like I'm driving around the city and my character's like T-posing out of my car, and I'm just like, no.
I had things like that happen that honestly just made me laugh and enjoy the game even more. Like at one point I was busy walking through the city, I looked up and there's a man walking through the sky.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. I enjoy that.
I've seen some bizarre shit. Seen like guns floating in the air. There was a mission where I had to like decide on like a memorial offering and some of the items I couldn't interact with. So I was like, well, that's cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
so
hilarious.
it's like small things like that, like nothing game breaking yet, but every time I encounter something, it just like, it takes me out of it. And I'm just reminded of this is a game, you know? And so, yeah, they say big patches are coming in February and March. I suspect the game will not be like at a state where it should have launched at until those next gen patches come out. So I would wager even still later this year. I know The Witcher, I don't recall it being this way, but everyone says this was the same with The Witcher. I don't recall it being this bad.
A world that big, there's going to be problems, but I don't honestly. But I mean, I didn't play The Witcher 3 till years.
I remember performance issues on PS4, but not like nowhere near to this degree. I do know that they redid the UI eventually in The Witcher 3 as well, because it was also bad. So
with Cyberpunk, we're talking like actual slideshows in some parts of the game.
Some people like they turn on a mirror to look at their character and it like drops to 2 FPS. So no, it's bad.
Ray tracing, man.
it's bad, and it's like I said, I've got a 3090 and it can't run this thing properly. So
it's time to upgrade, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's Cyberpunk. You finished it. I'll finish it maybe in 2022. Who knows?
2022.
But that's. Do you want to talk about anything else you've been playing over the holiday?
No, I'll just mention that I've been replaying Bloodborne.
Oh yeah,
it's funny. It's so funny. I don't know why, but the moment I finished Cyberpunk, like quite literally the moment I went and I booted up Bloodborne, I was like, I'm just itching for a good From game.
I need a palate cleanser.
Yeah, and the thing is, I left off on my second playthrough, like halfway through a chalice dungeon, because I wanted to go for the platinum. And I couldn't for the life of me remember what the shit I was doing in the chalice dungeon. So it took me a while to figure out where I was going, what I was doing. But yeah, I got that trophy, and now I'm on my third playthrough.
So you're there for the platinum, man.
Yeah, I literally need to finish the DLC and the final boss, and I've got the platinum.
Nice.
What a game. What a damn game.
I respect you, because that platinum is bullshit. Those chalice dungeons are bullshit.
The platinum's fun. It's just the chalice dungeons are
bullshit.
hot trash. You know, there's one. So you haven't done the Chalice Dungeon trophy, I take.
Shit.
There's one Chalice Dungeon. Oh, so it takes you, I'd say, anywhere from 8 to 15 hours to get this one trophy. Okay, the Chalice Dungeons are fun. You know, when you start them, they're actually quite enjoyable. You fight bosses and enemies that you don't see in the main game. But after, when you get to like the 5th or 6th one, and then the environments start looking the same, you're like I'm a bit over this. But what I want to say is that the one Chalice Dungeon, it's one limitation is that it puts you on half health.
No.
And you fight Amygdala, who's a giant dude, and in his 3rd phase. So Amygdala is not necessarily a hard boss.
Insta-death.
I don't recall struggling on this boss in the main game.
I recall struggling because I didn't know I couldn't attack the legs, because you do no damage to the legs.
You do no damage. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not a boss that you would die like 40 times to. It's the thing of you sort of figure it out, you go to it. So when he enters his 3rd phase, he does this move where he jumps. And if he lands on you, you insta-die. It was the lowest points of Bloodborne for me. I hated it so much. I ended up going to bed. It's so funny because I'm a very easy sleeper. Like, I'll climb into bed and fall asleep. Okay, like no issue. I went to bed at 2 a.m, having died to him for like the last 2 hours, and I just kept thinking like, what am I doing with my life?
Lenska rolls over and it's just you huffing and puffing. You're just like...
But you know what's so funny? That it vexed me so much that the next day I woke up and I was just like, I need to beat this boss, to the point where we were having like breakfast with my in-laws because we live in the same property.
You were seeing Amygdala everywhere.
And then Lenska like told them like, no, Shay, Matty's stuck on this boss. And then they started asking questions about Bloodborne. Like, so tell us about this game.
No.
Like,
that's great breakfast chat.
It's quite a game to explain.
Blood
but the funny thing is that I came down to play again, and Lenska's actually playing Immortals Phoenix Rising.
Yes, I'm actually keen to play that. Yeah,
maybe talk about next week whenever, because I've been watching it play. It looks awesome, and I want to play it.
Did you grab it on PC?
Yeah, on Epic for like $500.
Sick.
It was super cheap. So she was waiting for it to download, and I'm like, do you want to see what boss I've been struggling with? She's like, yeah, sure, I'll watch. And then I beat the boss. It's like, I just needed you to watch me so I could beat this boss.
Motherfucker. Unreal.
Yeah, but yeah, so I'm playing the DLC now, and I'll finish it, and I'll probably talk about it next week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
My God, we're on 1 hour and 2 minutes.
Should we?
What's going on?
Should we chat about game releases?
Game releases.
There's actually not that much. I don't even think there's anything this coming week. There's very little coming out in January 2021. Just trying to see if there's anything this week. So we're looking at game releases from the 9th today to the 15th. There is 2 games. No? Yeah,
sure.
2 games.
Tell us.
Well, one of them's early access. So we've got King Arthur Knight's Tale, Steam Early Access on PC. It's out on the 12th. And then a very old game just being re-released. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World Complete Edition.
Oh, wow.
PC, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and Stadia.
Nice.
Yeah. I think the only big game, at least personally for me this month, is Hitman 3. The Medium is also coming out this month. So
I'm quite keen for the Medium.
Yeah.
Medium.
The gameplay that they released this week was pretty cool. I thought it looked a lot better than I thought it would.
I haven't watched anything. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, it will be on Game Pass, yeah. Hitman,
give that a try.
Hitman 3, super stoked for that, because that's just, you would love Hitman 3. Hitman, the previous ones have been perfect streaming fodder, because, man, it's
some
just...
weird shit happens.
Some weird... Well, the thing is, if you play it like don't get hung up on making the perfect kill, just go with your mistakes.
Go with what you get,
It's incredible. It's really, the way it adapts to your nonsense... It's really something. I think you would actually enjoy it quite a bit.
I probably would.
So yeah,
probably.
That's it. Should we get to game news? Game news. It's also not that much because I mean it is January, so.
I mean, can't say there's much gaming news, but we can always
world
have
news.
A look.
Yeah, there's world news.
World news.
Speaking of world news that bled into game news.
America.
Twitch pulled the PogChamp emote. Because
Yeah.
apparently PogChamp is based off some fighting game dude who's also like a super big right-wing dude, which apparently was fine up until now. But he, during the siege on the Capitol building in America, he was kind of supporting the violence.
He's tweeting some stuff, yeah.
Twitch was like, nah, not anymore. And they pulled the emote. The cool thing,
and they've already replaced it.
yeah, the cool thing about it is that they introducing a new emote every 24 hours. Well, they're replacing it with a new emote every 24 hours, and there's already some cool ones from like the community.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the one that they left so one of my friends was streaming last night while we played Counter-Strike. We were busy talking about the new emote. Like, that's so weird how they had one ready to go so quickly.
Yeah.
But like maybe you said, it's community submissions. They're going to rotate them, which is pretty cool. I actually saw someone suggest, I think it was, who was it? Was it Daynon or Prairie Flax? One of them said, why don't they just make it that there's like a set of 30 PogChamp emotes, and then they just
when you type in PogChamp, it randomizes.
It's just a random.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We laughed at it because one of my friends, like, Poggers is such a Twitch thing. You know, you say Poggers is like, Poggers, you know?
Yeah.
One of my friends loves saying Poggers, and he's kind of like built his whole Twitch brand on like PogChamp and Poggers.
Oh, no.
like Twitch just cancelled your whole brand, dude. No, but it didn't actually, but it's still funny though.
Shame.
But damn.
Yeah, but it's cool that if they're going to cycle between new ones every 24 hours is pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Have you downloaded the Monster Hunter Rise demo?
I have not played it yet, but I'm keen to give it a go because it looks really cool. There was I don't know if it was like a direct or just like a stream of it, but it looks pretty dope. There's a demo out now on Nintendo Switch, which is available until I think the first week of September, and then because I think you have to connect to your server. So,
first week of September?
Sorry, February.
Jeez, because like that is a very
apologies,
very long limited time demo.
It is. Let me just see it. It contains a basic training quest, walking players through the basics of the game. Once the basics have been mastered, you can attempt some actual monster hunts, beginner quests, intermediate quests, and you can play them in solo or co-op. So, the demo is set to expire on 31st of January.
Okay, so oh my gosh, it's super short.
Yeah, so we should give it a go online. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I definitely want to give it a go.
So yeah, that's out now, and I think the game is out in February sometime.
It's March 26th.
Oh, is it March? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's March.
Cool.
March.
It looks cool.
I mean, I've never played Monster Hunter, but did you play Monster Hunter World?
A little bit, but I got into it like when everyone had fallen off, and I wasn't having the best time playing solo. I definitely think it's a game that is better when you're playing with other people.
With friends, yeah.
Yeah, so I think having it on Switch and having it anywhere as well is like really cool.
I think, that's what I was going to say. I think I'd love Monster Hunter, but it's one of those games you can pour like dozens upon hundreds of hours into. I think Switch is the place for me to play.
It's a Destiny-like. It's one of those. Yeah. So, yeah, keen to give that a go.
Yeah, keen to give it a go.
We normally don't comment on this, but I just want to bring it up because it's pretty cool. The next free game on the Epic Game Store is Star Wars Battlefront 2's like complete celebration edition, which is fucking awesome.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, it's like all the DLC, which includes some story DLC, all the new characters they added, all the new maps, all the new modes. Like, that's cool. That game had a redemption arc, like, because it was not great at launch, and I think it's a great time now. And if you haven't played it, that's cool.
Now's the time.
Yeah, now's the time. So I would get on that, and I'm sure once it goes free, the online servers will repopulate even more. So
yeah,
get on that shit.
Goddamn. Have you seen hot rumors? I don't know why my internet's not loading, but Nintendo's rumored Switch Pro.
Yes, yeah, there was some data mining that happened, which got some details out of there, which, you know what? Most of those details don't sound like bullshit to me. They sound like completely plausible things. So Basically, I mean, a Switch Pro has been rumored for so long now, but the prevailing theory is that it's coming out this year, which would make sense. The Switch is 4 years old in March, which is crazy to me.
So old.
It's crazy. I cannot believe it's been 4 years. 4 years since Zelda.
It's Breath of the Wild 2 year, man. Let's go.
Tell you, that thing, Switch Pro launches with Breath of the Wild 2. Put money on it now. I will put money on it now.
Sure.
So the theory is that it's coming out this year, and the data mining basically revealed that it's going to have a OLED display, which when you think about it, you're like, oh man, but aren't OLED TVs expensive? It's like, yes, but the PS Vita hasn't had an OLED screen. When they're smaller,
and the PS Vita screen was delightful.
Yeah, beautiful. So an OLED screen would be great because the contrast would be fantastic. Well, yeah. Then apparently it's going to have much better battery life, which is cool. I definitely ran into issues in Cape Town where I'm playing Hades, and after 2 or 3 runs, the thing is like, hey, I'm about to die. And I'm like, oh,
what?
That sucks. Yeah. So that would be cool. Apparently better performance, because I assume it will have a new NVIDIA Tegra chip embedded within. And the Switch dock will allow 4K output. Now, I do not think, and I don't think anyone should be assuming, that the Switch is going to play games at 4K. There's just no way. There's
Zelda at 4K. Don't kill my dreams.
There's no way. Like, I do not expect that. I don't think any reasonable person should be expecting that. What the 4K output is important for is, right now, the Switch dock has no 4K option at all. So when you plug it into a 4K TV, it's relying on your TV to upscale that to 4K. And that is terrible, because TV upscaling is shit. And usually when you're on game mode, it upscales even worse because you're turning off so much image processing.
Goddamn. So
if the Switch is able to do that internally, especially for things like in-game UI, which, you know, you can render that at 4K so it looks sharp, the home screen, the menu, and just maybe something that upscales the games, you know, a bit better, like the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One did. Perfect. Hell, even with the new NVIDIA Tegra chip, maybe they found a way to squeeze some form of DLSS onto that thing. So who knows? That, to me, makes the most sense. And all of those things sound like significant, like small incremental upgrades on the Switch, but like good ones at the same time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm keen. I'm mostly keen for that OLED display.
It looks. I mean, there's a. I don't know if this is the image that went out with the leak, but on Darren's Critical Hit article, the header image, it looks so nice. If it looks anything like this, it's probably just like a concept, or it's pretty though.
I mean, I've been using an OLED TV now for a few months, and it really is. It's night and day difference. Like just the black levels are unrivaled. So having that on a portable Switch would make Breath of the Wild 2 look primo.
It's super pretty.
Primo, yeah.
Okay.
Remember Fall Guys?
Yes.
It's getting a Doom crossover this coming week.
The best crossover.
Like, so it's got like 3 suits. My favorite suit is this Cacodemon suit, which is amazing. I kind of just want to play it just to get that suit because it looks awesome.
I mean, all of these suits look awesome. Even like the Doom guy suit.
I've actually been playing a bit of Doom Eternal now as like a, you know, after Tsushima, I wanted some of that. I'm still waiting for it to like sort of click with me because like the resource juggling is a bit intense.
It can be a bit much.
Yeah. But yeah, it's otherwise it's good. It's a good time. I might knock down the difficulty because I'm dying a bit too much. So I'm just
Can I tell you that's exactly what I did. It's a thing of I 100% would enjoy the challenge.
Yeah.
But at the time when I was playing, I was like, I just want to make my way through the game.
Yeah.
I'm not here to die.
It's like I'm dying too much, and then I'm thinking about things. So I'm like, I'm not able to get in a flow. So I'm like, maybe I'm just going to knock it down once and just like, because I'm playing it on hard, I think. Because I played the previous one on hard.
I did the exact same thing. I just knocked it down and I had a much better time.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that because right now I'm just dying too much and it's making me irritated at the switching of everything. Like it's just too much. I feel like it's too much. So I think with a little less pressure, I think I will get into it a bit more. So yeah, that sounds Sounds like a good time. What else? Nintendo bought Luigi's Mansion 3 developer Next Level Games, which is cool. Now,
that's cool.
Yeah, now they have an in-house dev for Luigi's Mansion stuff going forward.
They have an in-house Luigi developer, finally.
In-house Luigi. They have an in-house Luigi.
Oh, that's so funny.
There's not much else.
Sea of Thieves is 1,000 days old. What? How's this game 3 years old now?
That's crazy. That is
crazy.
That's crazy.
That's one game I still would love to try. I just have not gotten around to it because I think
I'm super keen to give it a go with you again, because I played it at launch and it was a bit bare bones there, but I've heard so many good things.
I think they've added like a lot of stuff to it now.
Yeah, so I'm like, if you ever stream that, I'm there. I will join your pirate crew.
Some pirate shenanigans.
Pirate's life for
me. It's on Game Pass. Wink, wink.
Yeah, and I actually kind of want to try it on PC. That still.
Did you play it on Xbox?
Yeah, I played it on Xbox. But you can play cross-platform, whatever. That game still has probably the best.
Water.
Yeah, it's really, really unbelievable.
We just want to boot up the game and just swim in the ocean, like, yes.
Oh my god, the Tetris 99. You know, Tetris 99 runs like
was a limited time thing.
Or Tetris 99. No, you're thinking of Mario 99.
Oh, Mario 99. Sorry. Yeah.
Tetris 99. Every few weekends they have like a special event where there's like a new theme to the game, and if you get 100 coins, you unlock that theme permanently. This week's is Kirby.
Oh wow! I need to play. Just play this game.
I really thought I'd like the Animal Crossing one until, they redesigned the bricks in it and it just made it look bad, and I hated it. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to use this one. Tetris 99 is a good time, really good.
It's a good time. Have you tried Mario 99 as a matter of interest?
I haven't, no, at all. I don't really have much interest in that. I just like Tetris, so.
Why don't you just come out and say you hate Mario? It's okay. This is a safe space.
I played more Tetris Effect on PC because that's out on Game Pass now, and fuck, that game is so good.
I need to play it.
Play it. Like, so good. So good. Damn. That music, the feelings. If you just ever want to chill out, fuck, it's amazing.
That's the thing to play.
So good.
Tetris 99. I mean Tetris Effect.
Tetris Effect. Yeah, Tetris Effect is far less stressful than the Tetris 99. I still haven't won a game of Tetris 99. I came third once. That's the highest.
Yeah, I've played a little bit when it came out, and I've also placed top 5.
No jokes. This game came out, I think, just before your wedding, and I was playing so much at your wedding, like in Portugal when I was
at the wedding.
in your room.
I'm dude. You have to introduce you the MC. You're like, hang on, I'm about to win.
I was staying with oh god, I'm blanking now on the people I was staying
with.
Gareth,
Quentin?
Yeah, Quentin and Boz. And when I wasn't playing Mario Kart with Quentin and Gareth would come over just to play Mario Kart, I was playing Tetris 99.
Amazing.
It was a good time. Yeah. Quentin was funny though, because I'd literally wake up, he'd be awake just in bed, just playing. He's like playing Mario Kart or playing Breath of the Wild.
It's like I'm just getting better at this game.
Yeah, it was really fun. Cool. I think that's it. Do you want to move on to
there's nothing
questions?
No other gaming news, so to speak. I just saw Twitch removes Park Champion mode. We've covered that. Okay. I think that's it.
So if you want to send us questions, you can email us, checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. You can also catch us on all our social channels as usual, Checkpoint Chat.
As per usual.
At Checkpoint Chat on Twitter, on Instagram, Checkpoint Chat on Facebook, TikTok as well. Maddie has been sending me such fire TikToks, my God.
I have fallen down the TikTok rabbit. Oh my God, I just realized.
This guy.
Remember that Ronald Trunk tweet I told you about earlier?
Yes.
I retweeted that on the Checkpoint Chat account.
Nice.
Whoops. I've since unretweeted it. We don't sign up with Ronald Trunk here at Checkpoint.
Oh my God.
Whoops. But yes, TikTok fire. Some good TikToks. Okay, let us start with. Hang on, where did this question go? Oh my God, we had some activity on our Twitter this last week. So we have an interesting question. I'll start off with this one from MC Filani.
Sup?
At Filani_Radebe. What can be done to accommodate teenagers in rural areas who love gaming but just lack the facilities to pursue what they love?
Sure.
Which is a very interesting question.
That's a really good question.
My first thought is, I don't know how practical this is, but I know overseas, like in, say, Korea, those places, internet cafes are like hubs of gamers. But I don't know, what is the actual cost to set up such a venue?
Yeah, when I was at Wits, there was one of those essentially on campus. It eventually closed down, but it was just like a little internet cafe. I think they had must have been like 10 or 12 consoles set up, and you went in there pretty much any time of the day, actually, because like who the fuck sometimes goes to lectures, but like especially during lunch periods, it was just filled with people playing fighting games and FIFA. People getting like super, and there were like regulars there. Like I would go in there because I used to go in there. They sold Magic the Gathering cards, and I used to go and buy stuff there. So I used to see people there like pretty consistently. So yeah, something like that I think would work. But again, like if you're talking about rural areas, you're essentially asking someone, I assume, who is forced to live in those circumstances to have the money to open up something like that, which is a lot of capital.
No, which is not which is not practical.
Or someone to go in there and open one up. I would like to see initiatives from distributors locally. I mean, we've got Microsoft here that does their Xbox stuff directly here, and you've got Sturkenical for Sony to do more like outreach stuff, like maybe set up, not just like go for a day and let people play and then leave, like
permanent fixtures.
Yeah, set up permanent like fixtures that are controlled, and let people just enjoy a small pool of games. Whether it's like games that are, I think, community based. So you've got your FIFAs, you've got your fighting games like Street Fighter, stuff like that, so that a lot of people can really get involved at a time. I also think like if you've got old consoles and you really don't need to sell them, donate them if you can, because like back catalogs for old consoles are huge, and someone will definitely get something out of them, like 100%. So yeah, I don't know, I feel like it's a tricky thing, because when you're looking at circumstances with people who are impoverished, like gaming isn't a priority, I guess. But when I know how much joy it's brought me and how it's changed my life, to feel like that, it's being deprived from someone who could find the same sort of love for it just because of their financial situation, it's very sad. So yeah, I would like to see more initiatives from the distributors, and I guess it comes down to just each person. Just like if you feel like you could make a difference to someone else's life with this hobby that you love, then be that person, type of thing. I think it would be cool.
Yeah.
But thank you for the question. That was a cool question.
That was a good question. Yeah. Let me just open.
To the person who asked the question, I forgot their handle on Twitter now. But if you know of any initiatives that you want to share, like let us know. I'd be happy to shout those out.
Cool. We have an email from Malesh.
Oi.
Who says, Oi Governor, says, hey guys, hope you had a great break and managed to salvage something decent from the dumpster fire that was 2020.
He got to leave 2020 before us.
Oh my gosh, this man's living in the future. He says, we know Alessandro did. Those Cape Town pics looked amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You son of a bitch. Anyway, to the new year, do you guys do resolutions or at least goals for the new year? If so, are there any that you'd like to share? For me, it's usually goals, career, family stuff, promises to exercise that I never keep, and play more games. For 2021, I'll be dropping play more games. I usually feel that my time management sucks and I didn't get to enjoy the hobby as much. Lockdown and work from home solved that problem, and I played enough. plus co-op with wife and 7-year-old son. Now my daughter 4 is learning Minecraft. There is enough.
Oh, that's cool.
2020 was probably the most I've played games since high school. List below if you're interested.
Wow.
I'll pick out some games from that in a second. Hope you guys have an awesome year. Having stuff like Checkpoint Chat in the background while I work was definitely one of the things that made 2020 more bearable.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it so much.
So Malesh actually pulled a me. I do the exact same thing where I keep a list. I keep a list purely because I've got bad memory. And by the end of the year, I want to look back and be like, I actually played that.
That's my resolution for this year, to actually keep a list.
This dude played some bangers this year, let me tell you. He started with Ori and the Blind Forest.
Ooh.
He went on, he played Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
Ooh, I haven't even got to that yet.
God of War on PS4. Played Journey on PS4.
Best.
Gears 5. Halo Combat Evolved. A Way Out. Portal 2 Co-op plus peer review DLC. The Last of Us 2. Hellblade. My God, there's some good games here.
This is like the best games of the generation.
This is the best.
Compressed
Jedi
into 1
Fallen
year.
Order, A Plague Tale, Innocence. Yeah, there's some
I need to play
really
that
good
still.
games
I really
here.
want to play that.
Then he's got a list of games that he has played or that he is still playing. So I'm going to pick some from here as well. Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, Minecraft Dungeons, Resident Evil 5, Poggers. My God. So some real bangers here. Cyberpunk 2077, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Nice. And then he's got a list. So this is what I don't have. I don't have a list of games that I've like tried for an hour or less, whatever. And he's got some things here like Devil May Cry 5, Borderlands 2, Transistor, a long list.
Damn.
That's so I can tell you, Malesh, that I do the exact same thing where I keep a list of games I play throughout the year. Like I said earlier, just because it helps me remember what I've done throughout the year. And 2020 is probably a year where I've finished the most games. Again, probably like you since high school. I mean, I play a lot of games every year, but
to actually finish them, yeah.
For comparison's sake, in 2019, I finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So like I only finished 12 games in 2019, and I played a bunch of other stuff on the side, like Super Smash Bros. You can't actually finish that. Compare that to 2020, where I finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 34 games.
Jesus.
You've probably got more than me because you actually review games on top of actually just playing games for fun.
Probably, yeah. I think the number comes there from just reviewing. But, I mean, there's a lot of stuff I haven't got to that I want to, like Ori and Plague Tale. And I only got to Ghost of Tsushima in December. So, yeah, that's really cool. I'm glad that you got something out of last year. More games is always a good time. As for resolutions, I usually don't set resolutions. Just don't. But every year I just start out like trying to get into a better routine for exercising and eating and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
I usually I don't set out like these big resolutions because my biggest concern, it's not really a concern or criticism, is that a lot of people in January have these like a big grand list of this year I'm going to do this and this and this, and then they don't get to do them, and it's like, oh, like I've failed this year, which is it's
that's like taking
really
the wrong message from what the resolution is meant to be. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So what I do instead is I put together a list of things that I'm usually doing throughout the year anyway, and I just track them as I go. So for example, last year I had a goal to run 1,200 kilometers.
You nailed it.
And I nailed it purely because I knew that every week I need to try run 25Ks. And if I went over or under, I just knew to sort of average it out.
That's mental.
And it's a thing of like, I'm running anyway, but now I'm trying to hit a certain milestone. So I'm trying to just push myself a little bit more. I didn't go out and say, I'm going to run 3,000 Ks and the comrades and it was just the thing of taking something I do and
something
just
you can
pushing
chip
it a
away
little bit. Yeah. I mean, like I also set out my resolution last year, funny enough, I'm looking at it, was to finish 15 games. I like doubled that.
Nice. Overachieving.
And then I've got some general things of like every year I do try to beat, again, with running my personal best from the year before, if I can help it.
Yeah.
And I mean, whether I do it or not, it's like, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. If I do it, I'm like, oh, that's cool. I did it. Now I can worry about it next year again.
Nice. Very cool.
So that's that. Thank you for sending over that email on that extensive list of games. You played some good things. I think you're going to play more good shit this year. Over on Instagram, we have a couple of questions from Cello, who says, number one, do you think that in 2021, Sandy will be able to beat me in Trackmania?
Fuck this guy.
Sure.
Coming out here with these bad takes. I beat him in 2020 already. Why do I need to do it again this year?
I don't know, man. New year, new competition.
I'm keen for new tracks because that last batch of tracks I thought were bad.
There is a new batch out apparently. I think maybe in Feb we should give them a...
Yeah, I'm keen. I'm keen to give that a go.
Spin.
And put Cello in his place.
Yes,
this
me
guy.
too.
Yes.
Next question. Happy New Year. Did you guys do anything fun?
I slept.
What did I... On New Year's Eve...
I did nothing.
Yeah, we just chilled. It is actually funny. I think Lensk and I passed out on the bed. We were just chatting. We just passed out. Then we woke up at like 11, and we went and we sat on the stoop with her parents and just chatted. And then Lensk and her mom passed out. So it was just me and Tom sitting like, cool.
And then,
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. I was playing games, and I know I got into bed at around midnight because I could hear the fireworks.
You just heard the fireworks.
Yeah, I don't know. Shani was over, and she was sleeping already. Like, I mean, in general, if someone was hosting, we'd go to like a house party or something, but
yeah,
we haven't done that in the past 2 years because people just aren't hosting them anymore, especially this year, or last year, I guess. But the year prior was like our first year where we did nothing because Shani was busy. She was actually like doing master's work on New Year's Eve, and I was just like playing games. So,
goddamn.
Let me tell you, chilled out New Year's, awesome, love them.
It's a vibe. It's a good vibe. And then I suppose on that, best New Year memory from the past. Cello asks. So I have some good ones purely because New Year has always been a big deal for us because being Portuguese, we generally, growing up, we always used to go to some other Portuguese party.
Do you clap at New Year's like when the plane lands?
When the plane lands, dude, we all celebrated here. But more importantly, my dad's birthday was on the 1st of January.
Oh, so, really? That's cool.
Yeah, so it was always nice because it was like we're celebrating New Year and his birthday at the same time. Yeah. But other than that, like I have a very fond memory of one New Year where I actually went away with a whole lot of my gaming friends. We went to Mossel Bay to hang out. So 2 of them live there. And we all celebrated New Year. I celebrated New Year with all the people that I basically spent a lot of years playing games with. And it was just such a blast. We ended up swimming in the sea after midnight.
Oh, that's very cool.
Very
Shark bait, hoo-ha-ha.
It was good fun. I distinctly remember people being on it wasn't people, it was us and other people. We had, those fireworks that shoot just like pew, like
almost looks like a cylinder that shoots things.
Yeah, it almost looks like you're shooting spells from a wand.
Yes. I know exactly.
Yeah, we shot those at each other. It was great.
Teenagers. Fucking idiots.
It was a good time. We weren't teenagers, man. That was like mid-20s.
Acting like teenagers.
It was a good time.
Yeah, most of mine are just like being with friends. Like my best New Year's were like smaller little parties with like a small group of people that you're close to, and like everyone's drinking, everyone's just having a good time and just chilling out. Like I found the ones like where I went to bigger parties where I didn't know people and everything, they were always awkward and weird, and I'm generally not like that. I'd rather have a braai with 10 people that I love, rather than like 50 people and still like 10 people there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say, there's a couple of those instances where I'm just like, there's smaller house parties and they just really fun, just chilling out, chatting, listening to good music, but nothing like overly special. I never did like big Cape Town parties and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I have far more bad New Year's than good New Year's because, man, everyone is like, oh, come to this thing, it'll be fun. And it's like, shit, it's like garbage. So yeah.
God damn. Okay. And we have a bunch of questions on Twitter from Megs. We'll start out, I don't know, forget through all of them. But question 1, are you guys considering moving out of WhatsApp due to the forced Facebook integration and moving to Telegram/Signal?
I mean, for work purposes, I'm definitely interested to see if like my employers will move away from it, because we conduct a lot of business over WhatsApp and I hate it. It should be illegal. I hate it. Just phone me. Like, if it's work, phone me. Don't make... Yeah, anyway. But otherwise, probably not, because, like... I mean, if I move, then I need other people to move. And most of the other people I talk to all use Facebook and Instagram anyway. So, like, there is no incentive for them to move. So, like...
Yeah,
probably not.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying to you, is that there's this big hoo-ha now of people going like, oh my God, I'm going to like delete WhatsApp and jump to Telegram. But these same people have a Facebook account or Instagram account. So it's like, look, I get the difference in that you might not send, like banking details or something over Instagram or Facebook. But if you're worried about personal data, like they've got all your shit. Mark Zuckerberg knows the color of your underwear.
Yeah, he's got you, man. You're done.
So don't even bother moving. It's fine.
So yeah, from that perspective, I don't know. But probably not. I do think it's shitty. Like 100% it's shitty that Facebook just wants all your data from every single place. But it would need to be a more, and maybe it is, but it would need to be a more mainstream thing, because locally everyone uses WhatsApp. So it becomes an inconvenience. You can put your foot down, yes, but like at the end of the day, a lot of people are going to try contact you over WhatsApp. So it's hard to just like cut it cold out unless everyone does it. You know what I mean? Like when everyone was on BBM or everyone migrated from BBM to WhatsApp, it needs to be on that scale for it to change to like Telegram or Signal. So yeah,
it's funny because Telegram, I actually used Telegram with a small group of friends years ago, and I just have not used it since.
We use Telegram for work, for automated. They've set up like bots on there to tell us things that happen with the app. Cool. Yeah, I know a lot of people like Signal as well. But yeah,
I've honest to God never heard of Signal.
It's like even more private than Telegram.
Jeez, so, yeah. Okay, next question. Are hipsters still a thing? What replaced them if they have been replaced?
It's still a thing. I'm a hipster.
I think hipsters are still a thing, but not nearly on the same level as they used to be.
I think people have gotten bored of making fun of them.
Yeah. I don't know. What's the modern stereotype?
I don't know. Listen, maybe it's just because we're getting older, but I see sometimes like at a mall or something, like teenagers, like 17, 18-year-old, and I do not understand what they're wearing. Like, I feel like that person now, like, I look at them, like, I think I keep up with certain things. Like, I'm like, yeah, I love new sneakers and I love new clothes and stuff, but I see some of what some kids are wearing. I'm like, what the fuck? Like,
30's ringing the bell.
I know.
It's ringing you in. It's like, come.
I feel old, man. I'm just like, I don't get it.
Wait, are you turning 29 this year?
Yeah.
Or whatever, man. You're turning 30 this year with your attitude already.
I don't understand half of it. It's like, it just looks weird.
It's funny though, is that when growing up, there's always a thing of like, man, adults just don't get us. They just don't get us. And now
it's really
the
true.
roles have reversed. I'm like, I don't get you.
I just don't get it, man. I think having a teenager now would scare the living shit out of me.
And you know what's funny is that your parents probably thought the same thing.
Probably.
When we were teenagers.
I mean, I think about it. My parents had to deal with teenagers on the precipice of like social media becoming a thing, like this completely new unknown.
Oh yeah.
But maybe it's worse for us because we know how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Who knows? Next question. Alessandro, since you're in the industry, why do some banking apps not allow you to take screenshots?
What do you mean? Oh, like phone, taking a screenshot. It's just security purposes.
I think it's a security thing. Yeah,
security. It's a fairly easy toggle. On the development side of things, like fairly easy to just restrict that. In the same way that I don't know if the Discovery app does it. I think it does, but the FNB one definitely does it. If you swipe on your app to like minimize it, it will put like a static image in front of there, so that if you're going through, so like. So like if someone gets hold of your phone and manages to unlock it, and they are going through your minimized apps, it won't have like a stat, because normally what an app does is just take a screenshot of what was on your screen before you minimized and use that as like the standby image. So if you're on like an account screen, it would show that. So someone wouldn't have to relog into your account to see that information. So FMB puts up a static image so you can't see that information. And when you come back from being minimized, you need to log back in. So it just keeps things secure. It's a fairly simple thing. It's not mandated by anyone, but like any bank will do that. It's just security.
Okay. We can actually get through all of these. Second last question. Do you guys still have physical photographs in picture frames, or is it all digital?
I do not own a single digital picture frame.
Yeah, I don't have. Actually, we've got a digital picture frame that Lenska's had for years, but it's not being used. We have a smattering of actual physical picture frames.
I love physical art pieces and physical picture frame. I love them, man.
I get the convenience of Facebook and Google Drive and all these things, but there's nothing quite like just a frame on a wall or something. Like if I visit my mom now, she's got a wall that's just got, well, not just my mom, like a lot of family members, which I haven't visited all year, just saying. They have like picture frames with all these old photos in, and it's so just cool to see like either me as a kid, my mom and dad much younger, or my siblings as kids, or just cousins and people I know just years ago in the 80s or 90s, whatever. And it's kind of sad that that's no longer a thing. Like very few people actually do that. Like I suppose in my case, the most recent photos we've had framed are just wedding pictures.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
We've got some framed, yeah. Sure, I can't say I've gone the full digital route though.
No, I mean, digital frames are cool because you can change whatever they're on. You can even get them to like your wallpapers, like shuffle things. So
yeah,
I just think they're expensive, and a lot of them don't look nice, and especially if you want big ones, like if you're hanging like an A4 piece or an A3 piece of art, like I can't get that digital. No ways.
No.
So yeah, I probably will get there eventually, but I like the physical stuff for now.
That'd actually be really cool if you bought like an A4 frame that was like super thin, looked pretty, didn't have a visible wire for power, whatever, and you just rotated awesome art, whatever.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be quite
very,
cool.
very cool. And you could like update it over the air or something like that. Like
yeah.
What would be cool is if it to take out the wires, like it comes with like a wireless charging pad that you drill into the wall. So it just hangs on the wireless charging pad, never needs to be...
It's magnetic and it charges on that same thing. Amazing. Hire us, the Mark Zuckerberg. Elon Musk, we've got ideas, man. Let's talk. And last question. If you could bring back a musician/band from the grave to create 4 years of new material, who would it be?
4 years of new material?
Sure, that's a very specific number. I do think an example that comes to mind is just Queen.
Whoa, yeah, that is a solid choice.
Because, Queen obviously
you'd only have to bring back Freddie Mercury. The rest of Queen's still alive, sure. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, so Lenska and her family and even my family loved Queen. So like I grew up listening to that music and I still hear it to this day. And it's just sad that Freddie Mercury was just taken like way too early, like huge musical talent. And I mean, they left like a good archive of good music, but imagine that they were still making music. Would have been interesting to see how incredible. They either evolve or just keep playing some good rock music.
Yeah. I know they, I don't know if they still are, but recently they toured with Adam Lambert as their vocalist. And he apparently did a solid job. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because like all of the rest of the band's still alive. The guitarist is, Brian May.
Yeah.
I don't know the other two. But that's a solid choice. Like bringing back Freddie Mercury to make like, say, formal albums or something.
And some tunes, yeah.
I can be there. Trying to think. See, my obvious choice would be like Pink Floyd, but none. Well, okay, some of the band members have died, but the reason they aren't working together is mainly just because like no one likes Roger Waters anymore. So, like, if I could change the question and rekindle, get Pink Floyd to like rekindle their friendship and play as a band again and bring back the people that have sadly passed away, that'd be awesome. Like, get them to make 1 or 2 solid Pink Floyd new albums. I would take that any day of the week. Very, very, very happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Chris Cornell, because I think that dude died way too young.
Shit, yeah. So, likewise.
Yeah, get him to come back, and he was doing solo stuff, so I would take more of his music anytime as well.
Yeah, I think that is all the questions. I don't think we have anything on Facebook. Oh, wait, so we have one more on Instagram. Not a question so much as a comment from Deathbox ZA who just says, no question, completes of the new year, good luck, have fun.
Compliments, I think.
Yeah, maybe he'd type it compliments. No, he said completes of the new year.
Completes of the new year. That's what it is now.
Completes of the new year. Oh, nice.
Completes of the new year to you too, Deathbox. Wishing you a good year of streaming. He does streaming, right?
He does stream,
Yes. Thank you for everyone who sent in a question, a hello. If you want to join this fine folks, you can. Checkpoint Chat on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, checkpointchatpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to send emails, TikTok as well, send us your fire TikToks. Matty needs some competition because he's sending me some good ones. Very good ones.
The best TikToks.
The best TikToks. Some of the best I've ever seen in my life. So give him some competition.
Do you remember?
Delete WhatsApp and download TikTok. Your privacy will never be the same
again.
A
well-deserved vacation. Vaccination, Sammy. Huge difference.
This guy.
This guy. Do you remember?
It's the funniest thing.
It's like the dumbest / funniest thing.
It's so like I thought about how much went into like the timing of that whole thing. It's too good. It's the layers to that TikTok, to those 10 seconds. It's really something.
It's too good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, happy to be back. It's another year of Checkpoint Chat. I know we did say that we were starting this year with a different format. It is still coming.
It is coming. We're looking probably Feb.
Yeah.
Feb.
Looking
either
at Feb,
end of this month, early Feb. Yeah.
Yeah. At the very least.
The audio won't change. That will.
Yeah, the audio will stay the same.
We're just we'll have
other avenues to listen to our fine faces. Ooh.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to actually brush my hair in the morning.
Oh dear. Yeah, I actually have to get dressed in the morning. Can't record podcasts
people see
naked.
you in that wife beater. Like, is this man telling me about games, or is he about to beat me up? Like,
I live in Benoni. Okay, I have to rep it somehow.
Yeah, you're allowed to. Yeah, you have to.
Thank you for listening. This has been episode 128, and as always, we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye.